Hey, what's up everybody? How's it going? I'm the Friend, and welcome back to the next episode of my Diablo 2 lore stretch Let's Play with the Amazon. Alright, before I get into anything, I do want to wish you all happy holidays. I personally do celebrate Christmas, so those of you that celebrate Christmas as well, wish you guys a Merry Christmas, and those of you that celebrate some other holiday, I wish you happy holidays. But here today's episode it's not gonna we're not going to start the quest or anything. As you can see in the upper right hand corner, we are in hell difficulty, but we're not going to quite start things yet. This is going to be another update video just to let you guys in on what I'm doing to prepare for hell difficulty. Not a whole lot has changed. Well, I don't know. I take that back. A little bit, yeah, a good bit has changed. First thing that we're going to go over is my abilities. As you can see, I have changed up my build pretty drastically. Before, I was spec'd into the Freezing Arrow skill tree line, and that is no longer the case. I was playing around with it, and from the past 10 episodes or whatever it's been since I've respec'd, I haven't really been using Freezing Arrow all that much, like at all. And that's mainly has to do with the fact that I'm just not enjoying it. I just don't like it. And I'm not saying that it's a bad build. I'm just saying that I'm not enjoying it. That's really all it is. It's a little bit too mana intensive for me. The freezing is quite nice, but the mana that goes into it is just I just don't like it. So again, not a bad build to go for. Just personally, not what I'm looking for my Bowazon. But as you can see, I've respec'd into these guys right here. And here in Hell difficulty, there is going to be quite a few physical immunes, and I gotta have something to deal with that because pretty much all the Bowazon does is physical damage. Or, if you don't go into Freezing Arrow or, the Fire Arrow skill trees, you got a bunch of physical damage. So the Magic Arrow, as you can see, I have 20 points in Magic Arrow. That extra 3 points is from the Kuko Bow, if you're curious. But so I got 20 points in Magic Arrow. I think I have 9 points in Multiple Shot. That is just to give me, as you can see, 13 arrows per shot. That's just a really good cone of damage. It gives me a good amount of area to, have damage output. Only 1 point in Guide Arrow. We're not going to be using that at all. I was really debating between Magic Arrow and Guided Arrow. Guided Arrow is actually pretty fun. You never miss with it. It always hits. So that's actually pretty nice. But I gotta have something to deal with the physical immunes, or else I'm gonna be in trouble. So again, Magic Arrow is what I've decided to go with. Again, I'm kind of going back to my original build. If you've noticed, for the most part, the one thing that is a big change is the fact that I have 20 points in Strife. Or Strafe, I guess it's pronounced. And a lot of you are probably going to be like, whoa, 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 whoa. I thought you never wanted to go into Strafe because, it acts a lot like the Zeal's or the Paladin Zeal ability, where you are stuck in place until the animation of the ability for the duration of the duration for the ability, and that is actually quite dangerous for the Bowazon just because of the so little defense. So if you do get hit by something, you're stuck in place. You can't move. You can't defend yourself. You can't run away. Anything like that. So it's a dangerous ability to use, in my own opinion. But I do have 20 points in it, and you're probably asking me, why are you doing that? And that is mainly due to the fact that it is going to be my boss killer. It is going to be doing quite a bit of damage, because right now, as you can see, it shoots out 10 arrows. Really, really fast. So if we look at my damage right now, and we go to Strafe, it's doing a max of 873 damage. And that's 10 arrows, shooting out 10 arrows. Each one of those 10 arrows is doing that much damage in like a second or two. That's a lot of damage going out. So that's pretty nice. I'll have to say, pretty nice. So that's really what my decision is with that. And I think I have played around with this. I am currently really enjoying this build. I think it's going to be pretty good. It's going to help me out a lot with hell difficulty. And I've played around with it a little bit, or hell difficulty in general. And I have a feeling I'm going to have a pretty hard time. um, the Bowazon in general just has not a lot of damage, just in general. Bowazon just doesn't have a lot of synergies. Like, nothing synergizes with Magic Arrow. Nothing synergizes with Multiple Shot, to give extra damage, like with the Sorceress, for example. If you make a Lightning Source, the ability Lightning synergizes with Chain Lightning, synergizes with Nova, synergizes with the Shock ability, whatever it's called. And then it has the Lightning passive. So all those abilities just synergize with each other, and you can do crazy thousands upon thousands amounts of damage. This is not the case with the Bowazon. And so just not a whole lot of damage coming out of the Bowazon, and that just kind of leads me to believe it's going to be a little bit difficult, and I think the entire playthrough may hinge on whether or not I could find a Wind Force, which is the best bow in the game, essentially. And who knows if I'm actually going to find that. I'm going to try really hard to find it, because the earliest that you can actually find a Wind Force is in the Pit, which is an optional dungeon that you can go down into in the Tome Highlands, which is just outside the monastery. So when I get to that part of the game here in Hell difficulty, I'll probably start doing a lot of runs on that area just to try and find Wind Force. Who knows if I'll actually find it. Probably just do a lot of that stuff off screen, and I might record some of it just in case I do happen to find it. I'll get it on recording, because that'd be pretty neat. But yeah, we're gonna have to do a lot of runs to try and find that Wind Force, because that's what's gonna give us a lot of damage. But that's that. And look at my passives here. Everything's pretty much the same. Got my 20 points in Valkyrie. Valkyrie is pretty dang awesome, and definitely going to help me through the game. And it was pretty much one of the only reasons I was able to defeat a lot of the bosses in Nightmare difficulty. So Valkyrie, very, very important. We got 4 points into crit and 1 into these guys. 1 in everything else, I guess. But for crit strike, we're probably only going to get it up to around 8 points, because that's going to give us about 50% chance to crit. And after that point, it's just very much a diminishing return. So not really all that effective to continue to put points into that ability, because like I said, diminishing returns, and 50% chance is quite good. A 50-50 chance that you're going to get a crit. Pretty dang awesome. For Pierce, I'll probably get that up to around 50% as well. Currently, since I am using the Kuko bow actually has a 100% chance to pierce, I believe. So putting points into this ability currently is not all that effective because of the bow that I'm using. It'd be much more beneficial to put those points elsewhere for the time being, just because they'll actually be useful. So eventually I will be putting points into Pierce just to get that up to around 50%, just not right now. And then probably my remaining points will go into Penetrate just to get my attack rating up, because this is pretty much all done. These are probably going to be all the points I'm going to be putting into this skill tree. Maybe putting a few more points into Multiple Shot just to get a couple more arrows. Right now I'm feeling that 13 is pretty good. Like, it's doing me pretty well. But if I got that up to like somewhere between 15 and 20, it might be a little bit better, who knows. But later on I may get some gear that gives me plus the skills anyways. So who knows. And I think that's just about it for my build. One other thing that I wanted to go over is the gear that I'm using, because I did make a passion bow, and you're like, whoa, what's that? Passion is a rune word that you can make on any weapon. And in the description, I can put a link to the website that I use to look at rune words for. And this Passion is a rune where that can be made in any four-socketed uh, weapon of any kind. Doesn't matter. So, yeah, I decided to make it, and as you can see, the damage is not as good as the Kukobo. So on the, let's just go to the normal attack. Um, the damage for just the basic is almost 1,000, just about 1,000. Switch to this. Actually, whoops, that's not what I want. Switch to that. It's about 730, 740, right around in there. And so yeah, it's about 200 damage less. But one thing that it does have is Heart of the Wolverine, and that's something I want to show off there. Go ahead and use Heart of the Wolverine, and damage goes up, not a lot, actually. I was kind of hoping that would go up a little bit more than it did. But yeah, it's a decent bow. Like, it has a little bit better mods on it. Like, the increased attack speed is actually really, really nice, because the more arrows that you're able to put out, the more damage you're going to do. That's just the way it is. It has a higher DPS, or the damage output, I guess, isn't as good as the Kukobo, but it has higher potential to put out more damage just because of the attack speed. The attack rating, +2 attack rating, is really good. Damage to undead, also really good. The lightning damage, pretty awesome. I can't use the Berserk or Zeal abilities because that only works with melee attacks, so that's whatever. Blind target, pretty awesome as well. The chance to make monsters flee is whatever. I personally don't really like that kind of ability, but for the Bowazon, it might be actually kind of beneficial just because, your main goal is to not get hit because you don't have defense, so you just want to never be hit. So in that sense, I guess it's an okay ability, but personally, in general, that's not one of my favorites. And then extra gold is whatever. But I don't know. I'll probably just continue using the Kukobo for right now, just because I can still use the basic attack, which does more damage in general, just because it's an AOE damage. I could use Magic Arrow with the Kukobo, but it has pretty much the same amount of damage. Go to that. Pretty much, like, it has just a little bit, got 1010 here. If we switch to that, it's 987. It's pretty much the same. Not a whole lot different. The exception is, with the basic attack from the Kukobo, you get that explosion damage, which is splash damage, and it'll just do more damage in general because I'll be hitting multiple enemies with that. So in that sense, I think the basic attack is going to be a little bit better for right now, but again, the reason that I spec'd into Magic Arrow is because, one, I need to deal with physical immunes, but two, I'm not going to be using the Kukobo forever. I need to have some other ability that will work with a bow that doesn't have that explosion damage. So that is that. And the last thing I think to go over for just my character is my stat points, I guess. And I'm really considering putting these into Vitality, just to give me a little bit more defense. And I have messed around with it a little bit, and just putting everything into Dexterity really doesn't give me that much more damage output. So I know I need to put a few more points into Strength, because I need to have enough strength to use endgame gear. It'd be really awesome if I could find a Crown of Ages. That'd be probably one of the... No, I take it. It is the best helmet I can use on this character. The other one would be the Gilliam's Face, which is what I actually have. I have one in my stash that I could use, but again, from the last episode, I mentioned that I am going to continue using this just because it has the knockback and the mana leech, which is really, really nice when using multiple shot. So I'm going to keep this on for right now, but getting a Crown of Ages would be really awesome, but I need a little bit more strength for that, I think. But yeah, I still haven't quite decided what I'm going to do with these 70 points. Once I get into the game a little bit more, I'll get a little bit better sense of the kind of damage that I'm taking and what I need to do with all that. But that's that for right now. The only other thing that I neglected to mention in the last episode is the fact that I did switch out my Merc. You can't tell right now, but this is actually the Holy Freeze Merc, and I uh, was using the Might Merc previously just for a little bit more damage, but here in Hell difficulty, I'm very certain that I'm going to need the Holy Freeze Aura because I got to keep enemies off me. That is plain and simple. I got to keep them off me, and the Holy Freeze is going to be very beneficial for that because it slows everybody. So it's going to allow me to escape from enemies and just keep them off me in general. And lastly, honor. I got a 5-socketed war scythe here, and I made an honor out of it. It is a little bit less damage than the weapon that he was using earlier. Less damage as in less maximum damage. I think the average damage is actually a little bit better than it was, but I actually didn't check that, but I think it was. But it also has a little bit better mods on it. The maximum damage, attack rating, life stolen, deadly strike, plus to strength. All pretty good mods to have on a weapon. So I'm deciding to go with this guy for right now. And hopefully maybe I can find something a little bit better. It'd be great to make a Eternity or something like that. I doubt that'll ever happen though. But that'd be really awesome. And this stuff is all the same. Again, Treachery and the Circlet. But that is that. And again, my damage is a little bit lower than what I want it to be. And I think this entire Hell playthrough is going to hinge on whether or not I can find a Wind Force. Because without a Wind Force, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do enough damage at all. We'll see what happens. I really hope that I can. But we're going to have to probably do a lot of runs in the pit to try and find that. But yeah, that's pretty much all I really wanted to go over here today. And I would really appreciate your guys' feedback on my build, my gear, both myself and my Merc and that kind of stuff. Pretty much your guys' insight on whatever I happen to say here in today's episode. That'd be great. And hopefully in the next episode, I'll be starting up actually doing the quests here in Hell difficulty. That'd be really awesome. I'm ready to get started with this last, I guess it's the last third of the game. Very, very excited. It's probably one of the longest playthroughs I've ever done. Or I think it is the longest playthrough I've ever done. And really excited to get this last difficulty finished. But we're going to end things here for today, I think. Again, I would really appreciate your guys' comments on this video. And also wishing you guys happy holidays. But until next time, I hope you guys have a wonderful day.